Apollo 2026, interpreted as the upcoming Artemis mission scheduled around 2026. It's written as a continuous narrative without headings or explicit role directions. Over the decades, the dream of returning to the moon has never faded, and today that dream is inching closer to reality. NASA's Artemis program, a modern successor to the Apollo era, has made steady progress, with the next major milestone slated for April 2026. This mission, Artemis II, will mark the first time humans have ventured beyond low Earth orbit since 1972. Now, 4 astronauts, NASA's Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canada's Jeremy Hansen, are preparing to embark on a 10-day journey around the moon aboard the Orion spacecraft, sailing out, looping back, and returning home via a free return trajectory. In early May 2025, Lockheed Martin officially handed over the fully assembled and tested Orion spacecraft for Artemis II to NASA's Exploration Ground Systems team. This handover marks a significant step toward launch readiness, as the spacecraft now awaits stacking atop the Space Launch System (SLS) rocket and final preparations at Kennedy Space Center. The Orion for Artemis II has been outfitted with advanced upgrades, enhanced life support systems, thermal control, waste management, communications, even an exercise machine, a launch abort system, partial docking sensors, and experimental high data rate laser communications equipment. Even as Orion nears flight, NASA has grappled with lingering challenges. Lessons from Artemis I revealed unexpected damage to the Orion heat shield upon re-entry, prompting an exhaustive investigation into gas entrapment and erosion issues during the skip re-entry maneuver. This has had ripple effects across mission schedules. Initially, Artemis II had been scheduled for September 2025, with a landing mission, Artemis III, planned for September 2026. But facing the heat shield concerns and life support and spacesuit development delays, NASA pushed Artemis II to April 2026 and Artemis III to mid-2027. Artemis III, the mission meant to land humans near the lunar South Pole, is now taking shape with intensive development. NASA and commercial partners like SpaceX and Axiom Space are advancing critical systems. The Starship Human Landing System (HLS) has undergone full qualification of its docking systems. Internal propellant transfer tests have been conducted. Next-generation spacesuits are in testing, and integrated systems tests, combining Orion, Starship HLS, spacesuit modules, and airlock interfaces, have progressed. The mission is now scheduled for mid-2027. Representing the first lunar landing since Apollo 17. The Artemis program doesn't stop there. Artemis IV, expected to launch in September 2028, will deliver the IHAB module to the Lunar Gateway Space Station, marking the beginning of a lunar orbit infrastructure where astronauts will live and dock. Gateway's first 2 elements, the Power and Propulsion Element (PPE) and the Habitation and Logistics Outpost (HALO), are slated to launch together aboard a Falcon Heavy in 2027. Arriving in lunar orbit months later. Artemis IV will then carry crew aboard Orion and SLS Block 1B to attach IHAB to Gateway and enable lunar camping infrastructure for future missions. Beyond Artemis, lunar exploration is gaining momentum globally. In 2026, China plans to launch Chang'e 7 to the moon's south pole with a rover, lander, orbiter, relay satellite, and even a flying probe. Meanwhile, the UAE's first commercial space station is expected to launch, and a new large space telescope, Xuntian, will co-orbit with China's Tiangong station. Back on Earth, NASA continues to emphasize collaboration and safety. Administrator Bill Nelson has underscored that crew safety remains NASA's top priority. The schedule adjustments account for a deliberate, measured approach, letting hardware guide decisions and ensuring that new systems are thoroughly tested before being certified for crewed flight. Artemis partners, including SpaceX and Axiom Space, are receiving additional time to resolve technical hurdles in spacecraft, landing systems, and spacesuits. Meanwhile, science and infrastructure are advancing in parallel. NASA-funded research using Apollo-era seismic data and recent observations from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter have improved understanding of moonquakes, subsurface movements caused by lunar contraction. These studies will influence where future lunar bases or stations are located to avoid fault line hazards. As the lunar exploration timeline from 2026 to 2028 unfolds, each mission builds on the previous one, from Artemis II's flyby to Artemis III's human landing, to Artemis IV's Gateway assembly, creating a sustained presence around the Moon. These milestones lay the foundation not only for scientific discovery, but for future crewed missions to Mars and beyond. In short, the path leading to Apollo-style lunar achievements in 2026 and beyond is being carved with care. Artemis II promises to reignite humanity's deep space journey when 4 astronauts make the journey around the Moon in April 2026. If successful, Artemis III in 2027 will return boots to lunar dust once more. Later, Artemis IV will solidify humanity's foothold in lunar orbit via Gateway. This modern return builds upon lessons from Apollo, leverages commercial innovation, and expands our presence in space with renewed purpose. Stay tuned as the countdown continues. April 2026 is just the beginning of a new era in lunar exploration. Let me know if you'd like any tweaks to the tone, pacing, or specific details.